We are now going to talk about the Stan James Fighting Fifth. Last year, won by my tent or yours. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
This year, we've got a couple at the head of the market. Unfortunately, at this stage of proceedings, I think there's maybe 8 entered. There may be some more come out of the race between now and the end. Before we talk about it, very quickly, in the comparison we've been so close to another new race of Betfair Hurdle, do you think someone like the new one would have run in this week? And are we catering too many races for 1 or 2 really good horses? If that makes sense.
Well, all it's doing is it's helping the trainers decide to avoid each other even more. When you're giving them more options, I mean, it's just silly. I mean, let's say how it is. This is a Grade 1, and it is very, very weak. In fact, we haven't even got a Grade 1 winner in it. It is a Grade 1 status, so we're all looking for the class angle. Well, they've all got to step up. Irvine's going to be a 7-4 favourite. He's only a Grade 2 winner. It's very disappointing, and for sure, I'm sure that the new one would have run in here without that race.
You can't question the prize money in a way. You can't question that because the prize money is always good, but it's just that I never fails to amaze me why they don't take each other on. Why? We'll have in Ireland, we'll have Jessica take on Hammer Can Fly and maybe take on Faheen at some point. I would imagine we will. I mean, but over here, it's like let's avoid everyone.
I mean, if I had one of these horses, I wouldn't want to start running because you want the whole season to dream about it, don't you?
Yeah, you want the Faheen type ease, and then you don't want a hard fight this time. I mean, this is what we've made it. This is what we asked for. We asked for the Cheltenham Festival to be everything. That's what we wanted. That's what we've got.
Yeah.
And this is just all these other months leading up to it are kind of not irrelevant, but we've set Cheltenham Festival to be the pinnacle of the year, and that's what we've got. So
that's why you prefer flat Mason, Billy.
No, yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, let's talk about Irvine. It's not the connection's fault or anything like that, or certainly the horse's fault. But Irvine would be better on better ground. I mean, obviously there's a bit of Newcastle was quite a stiff course. That last race looked like it was going to be a disaster for connections, but fortunately the horse got up and his well-being is not questioned. How do we think about Irvine?
First of all, you worry about any horse having a fall like that. Just mentally, that would be enough to put me off at 7-4. Irvine, what worries me more about that race is it hadn't shaken them all off. There's the second horse, Barrowmount, he came down to the last. He was off level weights with him.
I think it had.
He hadn't shaken. Well, when he came down, I agree, he looked like he was going to go past. But how far would he have won? Purple Bay's gone on and won 5 lengths in front of the eventual second horse. So I was concerned with that. I think the stiffer track will definitely help. I'm not quite sure soft ground would be too much of a problem. I think it might help the horse because I think 2 miles is absolutely bare minimum for him. But it's got to be said, he has been, apart from that race on soft ground at Kempton when he beat Vonleh de Tour, who's obviously won at Hunterton, and then last week ran with credit off a very, very big weight still. He hasn't returned to that form. That form would see him as like a 164, which is for me £10 below a champion hurdle standard. I think I'm not going to say he can't win, but at 7-4, I think there's look somewhere else.
Yeah, pretty much agree really. I mean, he's coming here off a fall. It's not a race that Paul Nicholls has sort of farmed over the years. It's a question. You back in a horse at 7-4, coming in off a fall. He's obviously got potential, but so has Sign of a Victory we'll come on to. And I couldn't see any value. If you're looking for the winner, then he might well win it, but you wouldn't steam in.
I mean, if you look at the visual impression of, say, the elite hurdle round Wincanton, and we've got the likes of, the horse that ran behind Fahon that was talking about the form lines. You look at the visual impression of what Fahon and the other horses done to them. They've pulled right away, looking aggressive, and you look at Irvine and you think, crumbs, you're not quick enough or anything. I thought it was poor.
Okay. Let's talk about Nicky Henderson's charge, Sign of Victory. I mean, this beat Darwalan last time out. Done everything at ease. This will be more of a test.
Yeah, I mean, he improved about £18 on anything he'd shown. I mean, he absolutely breezed up. It was a handicap. And you think, wow, well, what's the limit for this horse? This is a step up, but as Matt said, this isn't a Grade 1 race as such. And it's very difficult to gauge where he could be. For me...
This race tells us, though, right?
Well, it tells us ish. I mean, to me, he's got an awful lot of stamina in his pedigree, and you wouldn't think he'd have the speed that he's got over 2 miles, which makes him even more interesting. But I just wonder if time might tell that he's more of a 2.5, 3 miler.
It is quite interesting to say, going back to Venator, that on the day of that Cheltenham Greatwood race, Nicky Henderson quoted, "Look, if I've got a champion hurdle horse, it's going to be Venator." So where does that put sign of victory in terms of the champion hurdle picture? And probably, like you said, not a great race.
No, and you can see why they've come here. There was talk that they were going to go for the Ladbroke handicap herd. I'm not sure if that's still the plan, but for me, the horse performed about a mark of 160, which was on the bridle, basically. I just find it so dangerous when horses win like that. You just wonder how much more is under the bonnet. For all we know, he could have shook the reins and sat down on the horse, and it wouldn't have won any further.
Yeah.
I think it's a very different. The form must be questionable now. The second horse, Dalawan, came out and got beat at the weekend. The third horse, whose name escapes me, that form didn't work out. Sorry, I can't remember what the horse was called. So.
In terms of Aurore de Restreval, that's going to be the pace angle. That mare's going to get the allowance and go out in front. We was very.
She may. She's a nice mare. She jumped really well.
Potentially better than Cockney Sparrow, we reckon.
Well, so they say. And the John Quinn angle is interesting here because he's had Cockney Sparrow. He won this race with Countrywide Flame. He was a 4-year-old, and that does count for something. And you can see her skipping round here. This is a hugely different test, even with these rivals, than the horse she beat last time. But you'd have to be interested at 6-1.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And for me, visually, she does look better than Cockney Sparrow. And Cockney Sparrow was second in this race last year to My Tent or Yours, who went on running the champion hurdle. So if there is, she shouldn't be far away with the allowances. She took my breath away when she won last time. I know the form's been let down by the second horse, but it was jumping a fence in front. But the way it won so easy, her form last year looked to me around the 140s, but for whatever reason she seems to have improved this year, and she could be absolutely anything. She could be very special,
Arctic Fire on all known form shouldn't be anywhere near even this level, because I base that fact on Hurricane Flying Jet Ski. They made Little King Robin look like not a great mare. She's been fantastic mare throughout the summer, but they just quickened away in that race in Ireland. What makes you think Arctic Fire has got a chance?
I mean, he went agonisingly close to Vincent O'Brien at the festival, and then went to Punchestown and hosed up. And I thought no, he'll win a decent prize this year. And it's interesting, Willie Mullins brings him over to Newcastle. I did think that it was disappointing when he got beat last time. He went past the mare and she sort of went straight past him again. And you could say, well, I was a bit disappointing. But, first one of the season, I thought he had a chance. I'll tell you what I'd do. The angle in this race, I would take on the front two. I would take on Irving and take on Sign of a Victory. And the other two on your side.
Okay, so you talk about Arctic Fire and Nora de Restreval.
Yeah.
And Purple Bay, because we haven't got long.
Yeah, quickly to say, just Arctic Fire I just think it's really slow and wants a lot further. And like you said, that form beaten 17 and a half lengths behind Hurricane Fire, Little King Robin. So that tells you how far behind
we have to quickly talk about
Purple Bay. Yeah, looks like it's the stiffer track's bound to help this horse. I mean, it was going nowhere, was it? 2 out down to the last, and then managed to win 5 lengths in the end. Good to soft ground. Would the horse wanted the ground any softer? That would be the question mark.
No rain forecast. There's no rain.
Is there not? Well, in that case, there'd be no problem.
Okay, right. So it's believe it or not, but it's selection time.
I'm going to just go with Arctic Fire for the selection.
Arctic Fire.
I'm going to go for John Quinn's filly, Aurore d'Estravail.
So am I. Is that good or bad? I'm going to go for Aurore d'Estravail as well, and I think the horse will lead out in front, or the mare will lead out in front.